Hello and welcome to today's edition of The Wealthy Lightworker. Today I have Ming Chee with us. She is a money alchemist. Welcome, Ming.
Thank you. So good to be here.
It's so good to have you, and I'm really excited to share what you're working on with this audience and what you've worked on to get yourself to where you are. You are a master teacher, a healer. You're devoted to metaphysical healing and transformational guidance for co-creating personal alchemy towards energetic freedom and abundance. Love that. It's so sexy.
Thank you.
So before we get started, let's just take a deep breath together. One more. And as I say, the intention for that is just to bring us really into, the moment, as well as the people watching at home, so that we can all be on the same page to receive the wisdom that you're going to be sharing with us today, Ming. So I always like to start with people's stories. I think that is really the most fascinating part of all of this, is to hear how you got to where you are. So could you tell us a little bit more about that journey?
Yeah, it's interesting. It is our stories that really tell, who we are and make who we are, right? So if you didn't go through anything, it's be like, well, what's your story? So we all have our stories, no matter who we are. And what's really interesting is that when I was going through what I call contrast, when I was going through that, I wasn't thinking, oh, I'm going to be a money alchemist. No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
So my story is about 5 years ago. I was in LA doing my thing. I'm also a pharmacist, a clinical pharmacist. I worked in a hospital, also a Reiki master. So I had a side business. I do Reiki on animals. And then, was married, 2 dogs, everything's fine. And my husband got laid off at the time, and his company, was a bank, literally just closed up. So he had to find a new job, but in the area where we were, he would have not been able to make the same salary. He would have had to start over, and you can't start over when you're, at our age. So his company opened up in the Northern California. And so we talked about it, and he would have gotten a better position, more money. However, it is not in LA. So if you know where San Francisco is in LA, that's where he would have had to go. But at that time, there was tons of couples doing this. A lot of couples were living in different states, and it was just kind of the way things were. So we thought, well, let's try it. And so he moved up there and started his job. He was loving it. I was going up there firstly on a monthly basis, and things seemed to be okay. But over a period of time, the visits got kind of shorter, and he came back, and all of a sudden things weren't going as well, and there was definitely a miscommunication going on.
Yeah.
So long story short, come Thanksgiving, things were not great. Come Christmas, really not great. In fact, it was Christmas Eve, and he literally left in the middle of the night. I woke up and he was gone, and he didn't take the presents. It was very, very, very odd. And, I was literally shocked. And so I just basically fell into pieces, and, I was left with a $4,000 mortgage. And at the time, anybody that owns a house knows you've got, homeowners, you've got gardeners, you've got a housekeeper, it's not, and all these things. So, what I did then is I knew that I had to keep my vibration high. That was the only thing I knew. I didn't really know a lot about the law of attraction. However, now I really live my life based on it. But I knew that I had to keep a higher vibration, because if I was going to let myself fall into, the rabbit hole, I would have never come out. I cried every day for like 2-3 years, every day. And my colleagues at work that are reading the book now saying, we never knew this about you. You held your face so well. And I was like, well, I just went home and cried every day,
Oh, wow.
But, I learned just a few things through this, that when you just trust, and, I was able to learn several things through this whole situation, and I was able to move through it. And, and I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about, money. I learned a lot about what money is. And as I came through, I started talking to people about it. And one of my coaches said to me, you should teach what you've learned. You should really teach it. So I started coaching people on it. And then then she was telling me, you're not even coaching. She goes, whatever you're doing, you need to find out what this is.
Huh.
So at this time, I've had a Facebook group, and a business partner and we created something over in a 6-week period where we were teaching the principles of what we had learned about money. Sure. And we literally had like 200 people, and we taught this for 6 weeks for free. Huh. And we asked everybody in this group, all right, you guys have all talked to me. I've found your money block. We've shifted your vibration. What is it that I'm doing? And they all said alchemy. Huh. And so I was like, oh, so that's how the Money Alchemist, that's how I got my name. I didn't name myself. I got it from, people that had learned from me. And wow. So that's how this whole thing got birthed, because like I said, it wasn't that, one day I decided, oh, I'm going to be a money alchemist and I'm going to teach people all over the world about money. No, not at all. I had no idea. If you would have told me, 4 or 5 years ago, Ming, you're going to be teaching people about money, I would have said, get out of here.
Yeah.
There's no way. Have you looked at my life? Did you see that I'm like trying to eat? I don't even have food to eat. I mean, literally, I fed my dogs, and I called it eating out of a box. Because those cute things that you can go get.
Yes.
$5 for whatever, $1 or whatever. But I mean, seriously, that was how I was living. I mean, so seeing myself now and looking back, I'd be like, yes, it's a miracle. And I love, and I'm so grateful. And here's the thing, you learn to embrace your story, right? Yes. I would not want to go through it again. No, but I actually have gratitude towards my ex. I have gratitude towards my story, because I know without my story, I wouldn't be here now, living the life that I'm living, of which I'm so very grateful and very happy. And I'm just, it's awesome.
Oh, that's such a beautiful story.
Yeah, that's kind of a nutshell story, but
yeah. And so, what does it mean to be a money alchemist exactly? Like what is the difference then between alchemy and coaching, or how are the two related?
Well, alchemy is kind of a transformation, right? So what I do is coaching is, there's different kinds of coaching, right? And there's a lot of life coaches out there that are awesome. I mean, I have a coach, so it's like, but alchemy, what I do is I bring in kind of, it's a little magic. It's a little, it's transformation. It's shifting. It's, it's more organic, or, I mean, we could look up the word alchemy in the dictionary, and it gives actually a really good definition. I wish I had it with me, but I don't. But so it's more of a transformation. Yeah. And so what I do when I talk to people is that I don't, this is the interesting thing. Money doesn't care if you're male or female, how old you are, who you are, what you are. And as I interviewed, and talked to hundreds of people, I found that I really actually only need 30 minutes of your time to find out what your money block is, because I don't have to know your story. That's the thing. It's interesting, because if I close my eyes and I'm listening to somebody and they're talking about their relationship to money or whatever it is, I can hear where that little kink is.
Yes.
And then once I find the kink, it's easy. Then I just give them some affirmations, a new mantra, right, to change up the energy around money, and things really start to shift. And I've been asked, I had some guys ask me, it's this easy? It's really this? And I go, yeah, it really is this easy. It is. Wow. But here's the thing. The thing is that you have to practice it. Yeah. It's like, right? I love yoga. So I've been doing yoga for now a couple years. Yeah. But you have to practice, right?
Yep. I do yoga every day. I'm with you, girl.
Practice. So, and I learned a lot from when I started, taking yoga, because I felt there was a lot of similarities, right? So, it's a practice. You don't just do it one day and you're done, right? No. You keep growing. And that's the whole thing with this alchemy and our relationship to money and abundance, And I also teach that abundance and money are the same thing, because a lot of people put abundance over here.
Yes.
And money is over here, but actually they're the same thing. It's just
right.
Get all kinked up when they hear the word money, they get all kind of freaked out.
Right.
So, I always had my own freakouts, right? So,
yeah.
I'd get bills in the mail and I'd get nervous, I'd get scared. So what I did is I started teaching myself, and I learned that as you're looking at your bills or whatever, if you can look at them with not freaking out and start to change, your thoughts towards it, you start to shift internally. I turned my mailbox into a magical mailbox. Mm-hmm. I was like, and then I started getting checks in the mail instead of, me sending money. I actually get I got $100 in the mail one day from somebody. That's crazy, right?
$100 bill. Here you go.
Yeah, right? So I thought,
that's amazing. I can speak to that. I've been practicing some of this stuff myself, and just recently I got 2 notices telling me that I am a claimant in a class action lawsuit, and that a check's coming in a couple weeks, and another one a couple weeks after that. So magic can happen. We just don't always know where it's going to come from.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. So when you're open to the magic, right? What is that saying? Those who don't believe in magic will never see magic, right?
That's my favorite quote of all time. We're all dull. That's one of the things I've had written everywhere in my house. So I love that.
So yeah, you just have to have the eyes to see, which is another thing I teach, is having the eyes to see the abundance around you, because once you start seeing it, it just keeps coming.
Oh, beautiful.
After, I got through my story, I got through my situation, and I noticed, and I was, helping people, but I started noticing that money was still coming to me, and I don't think I was doing anything. And I even asked my coach, I said, what am I doing? Why is money still coming? And she says, you're just in that vibration. You're just there. And I realized, yes, it's a way of living. Right? Just a way of living. And so right now, necessarily, I don't have to do anything per se, but I just have to live in abundance. So when you're living in abundance, right?
Yes.
It just keeps coming. And that's what I want to teach, because there's enough for everybody in the universe. There's no lack. It's not like, oh, so-and-so, if I have it all, then so-and-so's not going to have it. No, that's not true. Everybody can. It's universal.
I love that.
Tap into that energy, and that's what it is.
Oh, so you were talking before about some of the ways that you teach people to shift into that vibration. So you said affirmations. So can you talk to me a little bit about what those look like for you? What kinds of affirmations? How do you word them? How do you suggest people practice them?
Yeah, affirmations are really, I would say, my cornerstone. And I still practice affirmations after 5 years. Every day before I get out of bed, I will say affirmations. And an affirmation is just an I am statement, right? I am loved. I am abundant. I am happy. I used to say, if you say I am happy every day, that covers money. That covers relationships. That covers work. Right? If you're happy, that covers everything. You're healthy. So, and here's the thing. I was talking with a friend, and we were saying that even if you don't believe in affirmations, you're still affirming. You're still affirming. So you don't have to believe in affirmations, but that's an affirmation.
Right.
So might as well just say you might as well get some good affirmations going, because we're all affirming something.
We're all affirming something. I love that.
So, so when I was in all that contrast, and there was no joy. Okay. I was not in a place of joy. I didn't even know what joy was, but one of my core values is peace. So I have to have peace in my life, right? So I would always say I am peace, or I'm going to be okay. These are all I am. If that's all I could say, is I am going to be okay. Because when you're in a place where joy does not seem like you're going to be near it, it's okay. Money still comes in if you get to peace and relief. Because if you're in lack, or if you're in fear, or if you're so that's why I really stayed in the present moment. Like my brother would say, Ming, don't you think you should have some kind of plan of like how you're going to pay your mortgage the next couple months? And I was like, no, because if I do, I'll go into anxiety. I'll go down that rabbit hole, and I won't be able to come back up. And he was like, okay. But he's looking at me like, I think you should have a plan. No plan. And you know what? I always got the money. It always came. But here's the thing,
Wow.
I had to stay in the present moment though, literally in the present. I couldn't think about tomorrow or next Monday when the bills were all due or next month or whatever. But I knew if I stayed present and I just told myself, I am going to be okay, guess what? I was okay.
Wow.
And here's the thing, if you tell money, you know, money is coming to me more than enough, not just enough, because if you tell money just enough, the money says, okay, I'll come to you just enough. But I didn't want to be just enough. I wanted a little
More than enough.
A little bit more than enough. And then it just started coming in a little bit more, you know. And then as I started to see these miracles come into my life. Okay, so for instance, I'll give you an example. My husband moved out. I've got a $4,000 mortgage. I've got a huge house. It's like a brownstone, right? I had no idea how I was going to get the other 2,500 among all those other things that I had needed.
Right.
But again, I was just staying present, just trusting. All of a sudden, that brother, he texted me. He says, hey, Ming, you know, Alana and I are thinking of moving over to the west side. Can you keep an eye out for me at places? I went, oh my gosh, guess what? I said, do you want to move in with me? He's like, what? So we all get on a conference call. We all talk about it. Sure enough, they moved in. They moved upstairs. I moved downstairs. They actually stayed there for almost 3 years when they told me they would stay till the end of the year. That's one miracle that came in. And I love my little brother. He's awesome.
Yeah.
And his wife, awesome. I mean, you know, it worked. It really, really worked out. They had their space. It wasn't, you know, it was great. Another miracle that came in is the divorce lawyer that I had, the first one, okay, $6,000 down the hole, irritated me more than my ex. Finally got rid of that one. I got a new one. This is what I said to her when I met her. I said, I'm going to give you the best review ever on the planet when we are done. That's the first thing I said to her. And she looked at me and she was like, okay. And so she said she needed $5,500 as a retainer. Well, I didn't have that. So in came a friend. I asked a friend, I said, I need $5,500. She's like, do you like this lawyer? I said, yes. PayPal, 5 seconds. I had $5,500. Now, yes, that in itself is a miracle, but wasn't that easy for me to receive, which is another money lesson, right? I had to learn to receive. But that money was in my PayPal account. Like in 5 seconds, I gave it to the lawyer. Now, here's the other miracle. The lawyer says to me, we're in LA, don't forget. The lawyer says, Ming, I'm going to help you. You just pay me $50 a month until we're done. Now, remember, the lawyers in LA, they're $300 an hour, $400 an hour, plus they charge you anytime you email them, anytime you text them, they'll charge you for a staple if they use it, right?
Right.
This attorney, right? $50 a month. I only had to put aside $50 a month so I could pay my attorney. And
wow.
She actually got through to my ex. I don't know how she did it. She talked him into signing papers I didn't lose my house. That was So, that's a miracle. I had my accountant tell me, Ming, if you need a loan, I'll help you. What accountant says that? So that's the way I'm telling you. I had all these miracles, and I think I mentioned them in the book, but miracle after miracle after miracle came in. That's how money came in. It kept coming in all these magical ways. So that's why I say, if you're not attached to the how, and you just trust that money's going to come, it just starts coming in different ways that my brain would have never conceived, because my brain's limited. I would have thought, okay, I had 3 jobs.
Right.
So money's going to come in my 3 jobs, right?
Yes.
So I released that, and I said, you know what? Money can come in any way it wants to. Oops, sorry. As long as it comes. And sorry about that.
No worries.
And so, if it can come in any way it wants to, then it'll come. And that's why it came in all these different magical ways. I got
that is so magical.
I have other, examples that come in, but those are the ones that are, at the forefront.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
And isn't it and it's so amazing to me, like you said, if you were to try to figure it out and use your, mental capacity to plan your way to get there. It would have been heavy. It would have been hard. It would have been forcing things. But the second that you just said, you know what? I'm happy. I'm high vibration. Money can come in however it wants. Then it shows up in ways you never could imagine. So
Right.
I love that. And I'm so excited because, you know, when we connected, you felt like this was part of something that you manifested. And I feel really special to be like a conduit for, again, your power of manifestation. And it's just, it's such a beautiful thing to live in that place. And it's really like, for me today, this has been a beautiful experience for me because it's reminding me, because, you know, it is a practice. Like we said before, it doesn't just come naturally. You gotta practice it. And sometimes you fall off the horse and you gotta get back on. So we only have a couple minutes. So I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about your new book, because this just launched. It's on Amazon, and you are giving away a free PDF of your book from, and is it From Money Blues to Blue Money?
Yes.
Love that title. So tell us more about that.
Yes. So yes, it's actually the story of what I've been sharing today. It's my story, and it's actually everything that I've been teaching over the past 3 years, all compiled into one book.
Wow.
So I've gotten great feedback on it. You know, and it's shifting people, and people are hearing something for the first time, which is really amazing to me, because I've been told over and over again, they have never read anything like it. So that's what's making me really excited. And to share it and get it out here. So yes, when I got your email and you wrote Wealthy Lightworker, I was just like, oh my gosh, I love that, right? Those two words together, can you imagine if you're a light worker and you realize that you can be wealthy and it's actually okay? Because we are to be paid for our divine purpose. When we stand in our divine gifts, absolutely, we should be paid. So when I got it, I actually thought it was because of the book that I heard from you.
Right. And I just love that, you know, for me, my motivation for choosing this topic is exactly that, you know, all of us who are conscious people who want to make the world a better place, we need to own the fact that we deserve and are worthy of all the abundance and all of the money, same thing, right? That is due to us because we're following that vibration, and we all deserve it. You know, we're all children of God, as they say, you know? Right. So I love that we are on the same wavelength. I think that that's not a coincidence at all that there's so much of this popping up, I think, in our lives, because this is the time, I think, more than ever to step into that power, because all the old money power structures are falling. Yes. And we are rising. And yes. It feels really, really beautiful to be a part of that transition alongside you, Ming.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. Everybody check out her free gift, the amazing book, Money Blues to Blue Money. And thank you again, Ming, for taking the time today.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.